Dear friends. Hello everybody. Today we have a really interesting video to examine in detail. Pyrokinesis. It's the ability to work with fire energy. In this video, well, you'll see that right now and I'll give my commentaries, and my friend Danila will help me. Dear friends. It's Ernst Vader again. Today I'm going to demonstrate pyrokinesis with a much larger object than some paper or something like that. Well, it's the trunk of a tree, as we see it's already burned a little. There are no trees close to it, so I am trying to do pyrokinesis here. Now, attention.
Ernst, this video, it's just absolutely fantastic because for me, pyrokinesis is maximum. Maybe a match or some piece of cotton. But here the whole tree is burning. The only thing is I felt pity for the tree a little bit. Could you tell us some details about the tree? How did you prepare for that technique? In previous video of this section you told that for levitation, it takes 45 minutes to prepare yourself. For telekinesis 14 days, yeah? But to do it this way, to generate that fire, how much time does it take?
As a matter of fact, it's not particularly about the time. It's more about how much the temperature control skill is trained. It means that the technique of working with temperature basically can be performed quite fast. But as you've noticed, that tree already had traces of fire. I chose it on purpose. That tree had been set on fire by somebody before. Some vandals decided to burn it anyhow. I would never burn a fresh tree, which is young, to harm it in some way. Because to tell the truth, I don't know exactly how far the fire can go inside. I mean, how much the temperature can harm the trunk of the tree. If it just was bark, but the temperature rises inside the whole object and directly on the area of influence. So, the tree was chosen not by accident. I knew beforehand that there would be such a tree. I asked my friends where there was a place where people rested. They said that there were definite places. That was not even Utah, some other state. As you can judge by nature, there are no such places in Utah. And my friends and I chose this place. They showed that their people could rest. We found the place. It was already burned and I had been preparing for 2 days. That moment we were having rest at my friend's place, and I had been preparing for 2 days. But still the preparation was not big, if I remember that right. It took me about an hour a day. For an hour each day I was generating the energy of fire. To do that you should put your hands 30 centimeters apart. Meditate and then you try to tighten the energy. And from that energy you try to create fire energy, then release. Probably many people already know how to do release. In this video, the only thing that surprised me is that, by the way, many people ask me why the bark didn't go on fire. I don't know. The thing is that when you try to control fire, you are not always in full control of fire. It's something like a ship without a rudder. That is to say, it goes where the wind blows. In fact, in this case you don't understand which direction the energy will flow. There was a funny case. One day my shoe went on fire. It didn't burn, but there was some smoke. The shoe was made of leather, so the shoe was difficult to set on fire. I tried to light up grass that moment. That was my training session. I wasn't making video of it, and smoke came out of my shoe. I had to take measures. I always have water with me, a fire extinguisher just in case. I had to pour water on my shoe. Actually, doing pyrokinesis you never know where the energy will be directed. Technically you direct it, but still you know perfectly well what whirlwind is and how they behave. And for example, when you do telekinesis, directing more energy to the object you influence it more. While in pyrokinesis it can go wild. So, I warn you against doing it at home. Only in the open air and in the places where there are no inflammable objects. So, I give this module of my courses in the end usually, for people to prepare themselves properly, and become spiritually mature enough. They should be ready that It's not just an experiment, let's have some fun thing, but it's basically hard work with energy. You know, when a man crosses some border, he doesn't really want to show something to others, rather than to understand what he is capable of. So, it's one of my last modules of study.
Ernst, can there be spontaneous fire outbreak? I'm talking about a man who already learned this skill. For example, he is sleeping. And he's having a dream and perhaps in his dream his pillow or sofa catches fire. Or something like that.
Personally, I didn't come across such thing, but I heard about similar things. A strong master had such an occasion. He was acquainted with Arn. He had his house caught on fire. Luckily, only one room went on fire. To be exact, that was his things lit up, the fire detector went off and he managed to put the fire out. He was in a state of something of anger. Something happened in life and this situation took a hold on him. It was heating up and up. Anger is closely connected with temperature. And probably there was such a strong release of energy, and it worked automatically somehow. For me, it's not clear how come that there was involuntary fire outbreak, but it happened. I know that for sure, many practitioners were likely to have such occasions, but it's a dangerous technique. In fact, there are certain locks, one has to learn how to make them. I teach that when a person achieves some results in techniques. As a matter of fact, here you actually play with fire, it's dangerous.
I see. On the fundamental course you tell about it, don't you?
On the fundamental course, I give some basic knowledge about locks. But in fact this course is, let's put it, preliminary, training, so if you manage to light up cotton wool, it'll be great, but after that you'll go a long way to master the skill. To be honest, I know that many people refuse from that, because they are attracted by something simpler. Speaking of telekinesis, for instance, it's simpler to study, to learn, to use. Here, stronger concentration is required. Moreover, your brain always blocks these elements. Because your brain's first function is to save your life, and if it sees any danger, it just won't let it happen. That's it.
I see, Ernst. I heard that fire can be different in energies. I mean, the fire from a fireplace, for example, it has certain characteristics which are different from the fire of a church candle or usual candle. What about the fire during pyrokinesis? Does it have certain peculiarities?
The fire of pyrokinesis depends on the strength of your chakras directly. Stronger the chakras, stronger the fire. By the way, there is an interesting fact that if someone set an object on fire, if he loosens the energy of the body, or your light body, the fire can go out even on objects that are easy to burn. It doesn't have the energy of the real fire. By any measure it's artificial fire, which directly depends on you. And if some object is a little wet, for example, if you sustain energy, it burns, if you loosen, it goes out.
What if we light up a candle?
Well, if you light it up not for the first time, of course, it'll continue to burn. The object that already burned. That's why it was easier for me to burn the tree which had already burned. It had burned already, it knows fire and fire knows it, they were connected already. A candle is lit up easily. A match is lit up easily. It's easier to work with inflammable objects because you don't have to hold energy. The most difficult technique is pyrokinesis on metal. I mean, you can set metal on fire. But again, this fire is so artificial that you have to sustain it. After all, metal actually doesn't burn. How come that fire appears inside metal? By all odds it's a transition from organic to non-organic with energy generation. And if you are trying to light up a fire, imagine how much energy you should give out. Because the very physics of fire requires energy transition. And this energy will be taken from you, so it is quite hard, energy-consuming process.
Have you done pyrokinesis with metal?
Never, but it's quite interesting to try. On the whole, it's easier to try doing pyrokinesis with old coins. Old coins or precious metals. They have a certain type of energetics. They are easier to work with. We can try. I've never done it. I knew about it, well since. People lack belief in this phenomenon. And if we show them it on metal, they will say that it's a gimmick, it cannot exist, how can it even be possible? Dear friends, if you are interested in the subject of city, the subject of super abilities, we are glad to inform you that we have a group where we teach people. And we give education from the very beginning. That means you get the basis which gradually leads you to such city as telekinesis, pyrokinesis, levitation. To a certain extent we'll tell you about the more powerful cities such as teleportation. So, don't miss a chance. If you are interested, subscribe, the link to the video is in the description below. Dear friends, we'll be glad to see you in our group. Dear friends, thank you for your attention. I hope this information is of any help. Subscribe to our channel, press the bell button in order not to miss our next video. Here there will be a lot of interesting things. See you soon.